Yo, people, lateness is greatness. Welcome back to the All You Can Eat Chelsea show. It took me a while to find the intro there. I don't know what stream you're playing at. They're trying to change the way things look around here, but that's all good because the Chelsea team is about to change the way it looks. We're getting a new gunman, a new striker, a new player to hang our hat on. Romeo Lukaku is set to join the club. He's already apparently started meeting up and linking up in WhatsApp groups with his teammates and getting ready to enjoy the festivities of what the season holds. But before we get into all of that good stuff, I need to bring in the A team, the A squad, yeah, the Chelsea team that is Younes and Miz. Boys, Younes, first of all, man, how are you doing? It's a beautiful menu today, isn't it?
This menu doesn't get any better. Like we started off with prawn crackers, and now we're serving caviar. No, like it's proper now. This is Michelin star worthy. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy. This is great, and we know what's about to happen. It's not official, but we know what's about to go down. So I'm waiting and I'm buzzing, man. This is great. Hashtag run back.
Yeah. Miz, run
your
back.
Twitch stream as well yesterday, run back. Tell Sage I said run back.
You know what? Yeah. I had to rub it in obviously yesterday with Saj because I know how much he rates Lukaku. So, and he said that it was never going to happen as well. I'm not sure how good the hashtag is, Miz, but how do you rate it out of 10? How you doing, bro?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. Firstly, I'd love to be in that WhatsApp group with the boys and the players. Just sneak me in there. I'll just be a silent admirer, just watching exactly what the boys are saying. I mean, can you imagine what sort of conversations would be happening as soon as they see in the WhatsApp Romelu Lukaku added, and just be like, wow, this just got upgraded to a different level. But nah, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of these hashtags. Romback, I think maybe we could do better. I don't know. I don't have anything in my mind at the moment, but I do like Big Rom.
Someone said Lukaku.
Lukaku. I like Big Rom. Big Rom has just got some, like that oomph, that, I don't know, it's just got that power in it. But yeah, man, very, very excited. It'll be interesting discussion. I think, I know we're going to talk deep into it, but let's be honest, deep down, a lot of us probably did want Erling Haaland as the first choice. And I can't deny, we even talked about in this channel that maybe that was happening. So, it'll be good to talk about the whole thing and unpack it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for me, regardless of even wanting Haaland, I said it on Twitter, and I think, it was a decent tweet, is that, the homeless rejecting cash and wanting cards.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? That is the way I described it, because when Jorginho is your top goal scorer in the Premier League, and, yes, you're champions of Europe, but you finish fourth, and you cling on to fourth, by the way, thanks to Gareth Bale, courtesy of Gareth Bale against Aston Villa, you really don't have the right to be rejecting world-class strikers, in my opinion, especially when we know the complications with the Haaland deal. It's not like, Erling Haaland or Erling Haaland, you want me to say it properly now? I'll try it.
Haaland.
Don't even need to say it anymore.
Not our player.
I get so much stick for that, man. Every time I say Haaland.
He's not our player. We don't have to care anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the amount of details and the complications that go into that deal. And as I was saying yesterday on my stream, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say at this point, I've said it so many times, I'm sick to death of people getting the money side of this wrong and saying it's only 30 million euros more, 40 million euros more, 50 million euros more. It's more than 100 million euros more, this deal for Erling Haaland, because the agent fees, because the wage was probably about 100k more. And if you add that up over the 5 years, plus the added on transfer fee, which was around 40 million more as well, that's 100 million people minimum.
Matisse, that 40 million was just to start a conversation. So when
you go to a bar,
it might be more.
Let's start the conversation.
Yeah, if you want to talk to me, pay 175 million euros just to talk.
It's
and then if we agree, maybe it's way more than that. Do you know what I mean?
So just to start the conversation, you need to buy a few drinks, maybe a shot, and then Then the relationship to actually have it signed, that's a whole different situation.
Then if I'm impressed,
it's like when you talk to someone and they offer that 30-minute consultation. But you got to pay for that 30-minute consultation. That's the 40 million right there. That's the most expensive consultation on the planet.
I kid you not. I don't know about you guys. Like I've been in the finance industry for a little while now, and every now and then when I get tapped up on LinkedIn and some of the recruiters trying to message me and whatnot. Yeah, I get tapped up. And then I how I start my conversation with some of these recruiters? I just say, can you give me X amount of money or else we're not talking? Like there's no point because I'm already on this. You got to give me this or else forget it. I don't want to even hear what your company does or what's happening. So maybe Dortmund had that same sort of attitude that, you know what, I don't care. You want this guy. In order to talk, you got to give me this. And then if I'm impressed, then we can start negotiating.
100%. I mean, the thing is with Erling Haaland, for me, yes, he was definitely slightly my preferred choice. But throughout, I was always very respectful that, listen, Lukaku is a great striker. And I'm actually getting very close to not really caring who it is. And that's because there's pros and cons to both these players. Do you know what I mean? There's, with Erling Haaland, yes, he's younger. Yes, he's got the resale value, but he comes with an agent. He comes with Raiola. He comes with all that shit that nobody wants to deal with. And that's the plus side of getting Lukaku right now is we're not going to have Raiola in our club. We're not going to have that drama every transfer window of where's he going. We're not going to have this Britney Spears, Hannah Montana European tour to different countries. Do you want to buy him? Do you want to buy him? You want to buy him? Oh, sorry, you are still contracted at Chelsea, but we're talking over here. The disrespect is incredible, and I'm personally just glad we're not going to have to see it. Boys, I mean, the fee, everybody's talking about it. Are you guys, you don't care, do you? It's not our money.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I get where some fans are coming from. There's that old way of thinking of, this is too expensive. We can't do this. But at the end of the day, I've said this recently, and I've kind of changed my thinking over the last year or two now in regards to this sort of thing. If the club can afford to do it, they'll do it, regardless. And if anyone is thinking, oh, no, this is too expensive, Chelsea will know if it's too expensive and they won't do the deal if it's too expensive. If they're going to put the money that they know they can afford to put on the table. And if they get it done, they get it done. I get that some fans might think, yeah, but, going to a game, buying merchandise, buying a top, that's my money going into the club. I don't want my money being put into something that's too expensive. I get that to an extent, but at the end of the day, you buy what you're given as a purchase, and that's it. That's then up to the club to do what they do with it. And it's as simple as that. And if they feel like they can do this and it's good business, and they will make that money back. They're not going to lose money by making a deal like this. That's just bad business. And right now, when you look at Marina, you look at our books, you look at the way we do business, we are without a doubt one of the best functioning clubs in world football. And that's a fact. So don't need to worry, people. If we're going to put money on the table, we're going to do it. We're going to get the players we want. And it's as simple as that. Job done.
I mean, with a team like Chelsea that make as much as we make in sales, I think we're allowed sometimes to go a bit crazy if we absolutely need to. And make no mistake, people, this transfer, we desperately needed to complete it. I said it so many times. If we don't get a striker, we're not winning the title. We're not even challenging for the title. So, I mean, Miz, how do you feel about it? You're good with the price, aren't you?
Yeah, look, it's not an outrageous price. I mean, he's one of the best strikers in the world. We need to understand that. We're not talking about Andre Silva from Stuttgart or wherever he's from. We're not talking about your Dusan Vlahovic. We're talking about Romelu Lukaku, who's probably, would you guys say he's in the top 5 for sure? He'd be in the top 5 strikers, I'd say, at the moment. Yeah. You look at your Lewandowskis and Harry Kane, obviously Erling Haaland. Romelu Lukaku is in the mix. So for me, I think it's approximately going to be about 110 to 120 million pounds. That's Inter Milan knows we're desperate for a striker, so they're obviously milked it as well. Romelu Lukaku being in his prime age is a huge factor as well. But here's the other thing, and what a lot of people are not thinking about, and I've started to think about this a lot, and I've actually stated this on my stream yesterday as well, that This is not to say we're not going to go back for Haaland next season. Haaland's going to be half the price.
Can you imagine? If we actually do that?
I think this completely rules us out, people.
do you know what I mean? I honestly think that we could possibly go for Haaland next season and have a front two of Lukaku and Haaland.
Do you really?
And I'm worried
that?
for. Yeah, man. I think Chelsea Football Club is probably one of the, as Younes said, we are best placed in world football at the moment. Where's Haaland going to go? Like to Real Madrid?
It won't happen, bro. I mean, I'm telling you now, there's no chance. It
may not happen, but it may not happen. But I reckon we should put ourselves in the mix when he's literally going to be half the price. Do you know what I mean?
To lose. Yeah.
I don't know if we should. I don't know if we should. I'm not going to lie to you. I slightly disagree because he's still going to come with those agent fees and he's still going to come with that wage. So he's going to be cheaper, yes, but he's still going to be very expensive. Oh, wait, no, you've got the agent situation, isn't it? With FIFA, they've put the cap on it.
Exactly. Look, they'll find ways to
even
get
still,
the agent fees.
I just think with Kai, and I'm not really as bothered about Werner because if Werner doesn't perform, then you can definitely make your case to get rid of Werner and bring in Haaland. But I don't get how the team structurally would even look with Haaland, with Lukaku, with Kai, and then with like Mount and Ziyech and all your brothers. Like it doesn't really. Bro, I don't think it really works.
This way. This is the caveat. When I say that, I feel we should still go. There is a caveat. The caveat being Timo Werner. If Timo Werner continues to do what he's been doing in this preseason, which was off the back of how he left last season, then his position will be in serious jeopardy. And I think someone like Erling Haaland does everything what Timo does, but all the other things that we expect Timo to do, he's going to do it. So I can fully imagine a front two of Haaland and Lukaku playing on the right side, Haaland on the left side, and then you've got your Mount and Kai Havertz and whatnot. And we don't need to worry about three at the back anymore. Do you know what I mean? We should focus on four at the back. We could
play one at the back at this rate, mate.
Bro, you know what? Some people are saying
Rudiger, done.
So, do you know what I mean? Some people were saying to me yesterday, tactically, Younes, is that you know how we now have the three and the double pivot? So literally it's 5 and 5 up top.
Yeah.
When you go with the 4, you're literally going with the two centre backs and the 2 DMs. So it's really 4 and 6. That's your attack. Some are saying if you are defensively like Thomas Tuchel, the way he sets up the whole situation, you could possibly go with the 2 CBs and an absolute dynamic DM, so that's 3 and 7 in attack. Can you imagine the chaos that could lead? Like, I mean, there are teams that on the attack can do that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not something far-fetched, but
even Burnley will probably come up against us and go, "Oh my goodness, what's happening?" We can't handle this, lads.
That would show ambition if we go for Haaland. But yeah, it is highly unlikely. But 75 million euros when we were chasing him for 150 million pounds, that would be such a slap in the face to Dortmund. Honestly,
if you think about it, we get Lukaku for, let's say, 100 million pounds. I'm talking pounds. And
I love this. Everyone saying Mizball.
Yeah, this is. I'm not gonna lie, guys. What you just described there is so chaotic to me. I don't know how it works, but
welcome to Mizball.
This guy's gonna be a tactical pioneer.
I can't see it happening at all. But because I think. I mean, obviously, Man United fans have got well ahead of themselves and assumed that they're definitely signing next summer, which I think is hilarious. But Bayern Munich are an interesting shout because Lewandowski's getting on in age and they need someone to transition quite smoothly there. We know Dortmund and Bayern Munich are no stranger to doing business.
150 million deficit, though. Apparently, they're on 150 million deficit this season. That's why they're trying to get rid of some players.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, fans are back this season. Obviously, we know that little injection that's going on in Spain there with the finances. So I think Real Madrid and Barca will probably be back as well. So it'll be an interesting one. I just don't see Erling Haaland with his agent and the team Haaland as a family. I don't see them being convinced of a strike partnership with Lukaku and Haaland together when they're both quite like ready-made to lead the line themselves and do their own business. Remember, these are guys that chase records and top goal scorer and golden boots. So then to put them together as well and ask them to share the festivities, it's an interesting one. But I can't see it. I can't see it, especially with two. I haven't seen two strikers of that mold pair up together in football for a very long time. Usually it's a Suarez and a Carroll.
Let's do it.
Usually it's a Suarez and a Carroll or an Anelka and a Drogba. There's always a side man. Do you know what I mean? There's always a side man in that partnership. I've never seen a partnership with Erling Haaland and Lukaku where neither of them can be sidemen. It just
be Batman versus Superman, bro. That's what we're going for. Batman versus Superman.
Oh God, I'm gonna fly through some super chats as well, real quick as well. Let me not miss these. Kevin, big up to yourself. Big up to the chat as well. From Twitch and on YouTube. Kevin says locked in at 6 a.m. Big up, gents. Big up, Kevin, man. It's a day to celebrate. Do you know what I'm saying? We're finally getting some business done. Some business over the line. Kevin also says, boys, Champions of Europe, we're running it back.
Is he going to be eligible for Super Cup?
That's what Chelsea are trying to do. Yeah, Chelsea want to get it done by the weekend. That way he can play.
Yeah. So there's no quarantine for him, yeah?
No.
That's mad. Can you imagine his first game back? Super Cup, the way he left us. Oh my God, someone do a movie.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Imagine if he gets the fifth penalty and then he puts it in. That would be beautiful.
That would be the perfect.
We don't need it to go penalties. We can just.
We don't need it to go penalties.
No, if you don't mind scoring this time in the game, we did pay a lot of money.
We'll score a penalty in the game and we'll let him take it.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get onto expectations and everything in a minute with him because I'm not gonna lie, when you spend this kind of money on a player, there's definitely expectations. Kevin says, Champions of Europe, we're running it back. I've said this before. The Premier League title race, for me, if Man City get Kane and Grealish, they're still going to be favourites. And if we don't win, I don't want there to be a meltdown. As long as we challenge and we're close, if we come second, yes, it will be disappointing, but I don't think there should be a meltdown. I think we need to invest long-term with Thomas Tuchel, and we should be setting ourselves for 5 years and really looking to build up to this. But Champions League, I really think that's anyone's money. There's no reason why we're not one of the best teams placed to win that competition. We're set up to be a knockout team. We're holders. Real Madrid and Barca are down, limping on one leg. Bayern Munich, you say they got financial issues. I don't see they've improved their team much. Only PSG have stood out as a team that have improved. Italy have been robbed for players this season, so don't talk about anybody from that country right now. Apart from PSG and the English teams, we should be flying for that. We should be going for a back-to-back. I don't give a shit.
Mate, we're winning both.
Yeah?
Simple.
All right. And, just don't miss out on the Super Cup while you're at it.
You can clip that as well. Go on, clip it and we'll play it in May.
Oh, my God. This super chat here as well. Lukaku, Werner in the same team. First touch disasters.
Lukaku's improved.
Yeah. He's improved. I can't see a strike force of that. They just look too weird for me. They're both left-footed as well. It would be nuts. I don't even know where to go, man. There's just so much to say. I'm so excited. Obviously, at the bottom of your screen, I've tried to update you as well. I'm just coming down the chat. It's just buzzing in the chat here, so it's even hard to even keep up at this point. Thank God, got no spam today. It's not a night show, so you're not going to get any twerking like you usually do on the night shows and all you can eat Chelsea. Usually we have a party in here. We're calm. We're a little bit more calmer this morning. I mean, it says that he's already greeted Thomas Tuchel and his teammates. I'm guessing that's over WhatsApp because he's obviously not in the country yet. No one's tracked his plane. But can I say, and can I ask, anybody worried, and I want to see this in the chat as well, just hit me with a yes or no. Anybody worried about him taking the number 9 shirt, the ever so cursed number 9 shirt?
No.
No? You're good?
Nope. No, we're good. We're good.
I'm not worried because you look at some of the previous number 9s. We didn't really do justice to those. Like, they weren't that caliber of players to carry the number 9, you know?
Yeah,
they're not your Diego Costas and your Didier Drogbas, do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about Romelu Lukaku, who, as we've already said, one of the best in world football at the moment. So if this doesn't work out, then we can start saying maybe there is a curse on this particular jersey. But, you know, your Moratas and your Tammy Abrahams, I mean, to be honest, Tammy wasn't that bad.
Tammy's not been that bad, no.
Yeah, it just broke the cusp. Yeah, it just didn't work out in the sense that we need a bit more quality. So I don't believe in all that anyway.
You're right. You say there hasn't been top caliber given that shirt. We haven't had a proper number 9. I mean, wearing that number 9 since Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Yeah.
If we're being real about someone who's worn the 9. I mean, we had Boularus wearing 9 at one point. That's how deep that shirt has gone. Like, it's mad. So Yeah, but I'm not worried. Lukaku's a top striker. If you think about all the chances we create, it's going to be mental.
Yeah, I think personally, Tammy's broken the curse. Not that there was a curse anyway. I've always said it's just a shirt. And you know what I mean? It's just, you need the right personality to put it on. It's a big shirt. It's not easy to fit. It's not easy to carry on your shoulders. You know, it's a lot of pressure. But when you look at the plus points of Lukaku, scored goals wherever he's gone, great track record internationally and club at any level, whether it's West Brom or Inter Milan. Great mentality, winning mentality, in perfect physical condition. Even Harry Kane was going to come with an injury concern. Danny Ings certainly was. He's at Aston Villa now. Don't know how that happened.
Bro, Aston Villa. Someone put out I think it was Zach Lowy yesterday. He tweeted out Aston Villa's possible starting lineup.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks pretty decent. Leon Bailey, Buendia, Ollie Watkins, Ings.
Sorry to interrupt really quick. I'm popping off and I'll be back on, eh?
Definitely.
Won't be long.
Back on
See
with
you
us
guys in
people.
Matisse, Aston Villa, they've set up a nice team, man. And I'm keen to see how they go, to be honest. I know they were kind of linked with Tammy Abraham, but that's done and dusted. They've got Danny Ings. I think Danny Ings is probably a better choice, in all honesty.
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah, I'd agree.
And someone who could complement or be the main dish alongside Ollie Watkins. So, yeah, man, something to look out for in regards to Aston Villa, for sure.
I mean, speaking of Tammy, obviously it looks like as if Atalanta is going to pay the 40 million euros for him, which is great for us and I think it's great for everybody because, yeah, if he went to Arsenal, it would have been, you know, his move because he obviously supports the club. But again, question marks over whether he starts all the time. You got Martinelli, you got Balogun, you got Lacazette, you got Aubameyang, you got a lot of options there. West Ham, a lot of West Ham fans don't even feel even suits the style as well. So that's an interesting one. They obviously just got rejected by Zouma because of the wages. So again, Tammy wanted a certain amount of money, I think 140k a week or 130k a week. Whether they would be able to match that is a different ball game. Atalanta are in the Champions League. They play fantastic football. Football. Brilliant
football.
Like, probably the best football in Europe, arguably. Yeah. Arguably the best football in Europe. And they create chances for fun. Fun. I think personally it's the perfect place for Tammy to go. You get out of the country, out of the spotlight, and you put yourself in an environment where Milan's not far away. So Tomori and Drew are just down the road. And you put yourself in an environment where you have to, yes, you do need to learn and improve those weaknesses and defaults in your game. There's some issues in his game, you know, the heading that we need to fix. That's a problem.
I'm just worried that he's going to get exposed. Like I saw all those tweets from Fabrizio Romano about Atalanta, and I was like, wow, that is a good club coming after him. And the amount of money that we desire, we're going to get. Personally, as you said, fantastic move. But honestly, Matisse, I just hope that Atalanta knows the caliber. Like, Tammy's good, but is the Atalanta good? You know what I mean? Because they play football and he needs to eat those goals that they're going to serve up to him. Yeah. And he needs to improve his aerial ability as well. So Atalanta with, I think Goossens plays as a left wing back over there. Yeah. They've got our Chelsea boy from previously, Pasalic, over there. Yep. They got some ballers, man. I'm telling you, they've got some ballers, and it's going to be interesting whether Tammy understands the movement.
It's going to take him a while to adapt 100% in that system, but it's going to force him to learn. And the amount of money that Atalanta are willing to pay, you'd assume that they're going to invest heavily on coaching him and improving him and then eventually starting him week in, week out. So, I mean, this is the challenge. Yeah, it's a worry, but not for us. We got to collect our money as far as I'm concerned. Southampton, you said, offering us, I think Younes was saying to me backstage, was offering us a loan deal. You just got paid for Danny Ings. Don't try it with us, all right? We need to stop loading out players and start selling players. Tammy, we need to get money for. And a lot of people are saying put a buyback on it. I'm personally not bothered about buybacks every single time. You don't need to put a buyback on every single deal. I think the fan base may have got a little bit obsessed with buybacks because we've put someone this summer. If you're about to lose a very young player that you haven't seen the full potential of for a very low price because the contract's running out, then stick a buyback on. You're not getting much money anyway. It's only 5 million for Livramento. You may as well negotiate a buyback. We're about to try and negotiate 40 million euros for Tammy. You put a buyback in there and you're going to get way less money. So you have to decide whether you want the money or or do you want the buyback? For me personally, I'd rather take the money and invest it into the rest of the squad and balance out our finances right now. And if Tammy, if it's not guarantees, because he still has to improve on a lot of things, and there's no guarantee he ever improves on his heading ability, which he'd have to. For me to join back at this team, you'd have to sort out that heading. You can't be 6'4" and head the ball like that. And it's not a guarantee that he does sort that, because he's been here for a while and is still looking pretty poor with the heading. Again, if he improves it, then cool. If he doesn't, we move. And not everybody's going to have to come back that we're selling this summer. I know Mark Gurhey and Livramento. At this point, we've got about 5 players we want to bring back. It's not going to happen. You'd be lucky to get back one of them. So we've had a few instances. Nemanja Matic, David Luiz, Lukaku now. Doesn't happen very often, people. So I wouldn't think about it too much. Get the money, move on, and let him do his thing. So yeah, I'm hoping that happens, that deal.
By the way, I don't know if you knew this. I'm just, because someone just said Christoph Tura just tweeted something out, and his latest tweet, I get that it's just talking about fees and whatnot, but top 5 of most expensive players in the Premier League will still be dominated by homegrown players. Romelu Lukaku also counts as a homegrown player. I completely forgot about that. That might have been a huge thing for us.
Well, I mean, if it is, it's just another plus point, isn't it? It's just another plus point with us, is that he counts as a homegrown player who's obviously in England for a long time.
That's big.
And when you're submitting your Premier League and Champions League squad, that goes into it. Not that we're ever struggling with that anymore. I remember when we used to struggle with that, but now we're English players all over the pitch, and we've got a lot of Cobham boys as well coming through. So I don't think we're ever going to struggle with HG anytime soon for the next 5-6 years. I don't think HG is ever going to be an issue for us. Maybe Man City might have to keep an eye on things like that, but for us, I just don't see it. But it's just another plus point to him. It's just another plus point. So, and he's Premier League proven. He's Premier League proven again, and that's something that some of our other targets weren't. So that also helps as well. He knows the league. He knows what it's like, and he's vastly improved. He's
got 100+ Premier League goals. This guy is. How many players can say they've got 100+ Premier League goals, man? That's insane. So
it's the personality he's bringing as well. I love it. Yeah. Like, he's so emotional and high energy and like in your face and committed. Like the chest bumping from him and Silva is going to be elite.
He might just chest bump Silva out of the world.
Do you know how this attack miss has lacked leadership at the front of the pitch? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's lacked that ruthlessness, but also that personality. Like, Havertz is he's quite within himself a bit, not the way he expresses himself, but in terms of his character, he's quite a chilled guy, quite nonchalant, but in a good way. And he's not like a barking madman that's going to rally the troops together. He just plays on his own time and his own rhythm. And I want him to be like that. I don't want him to change. Werner, new country, not always in the best of form with his finishing. He's hardly going to rally everyone else around him up when he's got to fix himself. Do you know what I mean? He's seems like a chill guy, great mentality, speaks well. But again, he's not that in-your-face leader type guy. I can keep going. Ziyech, again, plays with, his own game. He's in great form. We're going to talk about that as well in pre-season, because I know you're a big Ziyech fan. So I'm not going to do you dirty. Yeah, I'm not going to do you dirty, Miz. We're going to talk about it. And the rest of the attack is very young as well. Abraham, for me, not really a leader in that front line. He does do a bit of barking. I saw him in Batshuayi going back and forth. I wouldn't call that leadership. I'd just call that frustration. Him smacking the ground and
that's not leadership. That's
anger.
That's anger. And it was so funny to see Batshuayi and Tammy against the Arsenal game, where they were just shouting at each other. None of them knew what they were doing up front in terms of the movement and whatnot.
They both made mistakes. Let's just keep it frank.
Exactly. I mean, all the
Giroud didn't start, so
exactly. And look, our XG. I read an article from The Athletic the other day. Our XG under Thomas Tuchel has been unbelievable. We should have been scoring way more than what we did under Thomas Tuchel last season. So, you throw someone like Lukaku into that mix, Matisse, he's going to eat those up. And this is the thing. Let's talk deeply about this Lukaku deal, right?
Yeah.
A few people are a bit annoyed, and let's talk a bit about this. Let's use this as a therapy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's use this as a therapy, right? let's be honest. We all kind of were sold that Haaland dream. We were sold that Haaland dream. But here's the thing. For one reason or another, it just didn't work out, as Matisse mentioned earlier, with Dortmund asking for insane amount of money. Then there's the Asian fees and whatnot, and it just didn't materialize. They weren't looking to budge. They weren't there to negotiate. They were literally bullying us.
It was the most difficult deal in football history to get done.
Exactly. So we said, you know what? Time's running out. We need the season to kick on. Thomas Tuchel deserves a striker in order to win the Premier League, or at least challenge for the Premier League. So we need to go and look elsewhere. Now, in comes Lukaku. Now, we might have been given a picture in social media that it was all Haaland all along. But apparently there's some athletic articles that's been going around saying that Thomas Tuchel had been in contact with Lukaku for the past month. Even during Euros, he's been talking to Romelu Lukaku. So maybe they already knew, Matisse, that Haaland was probably not going to happen.
So let's just trick. You watch this hand instead of this one.
So and in comes now Lukaku. Now here's the thing, guys. A lot of people are saying that's a lot of money. You know, what's the resale value? Hear me out for a second. Romelu Lukaku's on his prime. So Matisse was talking about expectation. Let's talk a little bit about expectation.
Yeah,
we're expecting Lukaku at least so it's probably going to be about a 5-year contract. I can't imagine how Lukaku would accept anything else. So it'll be a 5-year contract, approximately about 12 million euros or whatnot, which comes out to about 250k pounds per week. So he's not even going to be the highest earner straight away. It's Kante. But if you look at Romelu Lukaku, if we're expecting, let's say, minimum 20 Premier League goals, and let's be honest, he can bang in 20 Premier League goals. Someone who's already banged in 100 Premier League goals in his tenure, most of them coming from
lesser
Everton.
Teams, because none of those teams he played for was as good as our team, chance creation-wise at all.
Everton and West Brom, where most of the goals came from. So we're expecting minimum 20 Premier League goals, which is what we should be expecting. And upon XG from Thomas Tuchel's time since last season, 20 is not a far-fetched number for someone like Romelu Lukaku. So if you're saying he's going to bang in 20 goals for at least the next 3 seasons, Matisse, if a striker for Chelsea is banging in 20 goals, we will be there or thereabouts for winning the Premier League. We really will be. So are you going to be upset, ladies and gentlemen, if we are close to winning the Premier League or win the Premier League at the end of this coming season? Are you going to be upset that, we didn't get Erling Haaland, we should have gone for Erling? Hey, everyone's going to be cheering that we won the Premier League. So this could be the factor over the next 3 seasons. Whereas Erling Haaland, who knows what could have been maybe after 2 seasons, Raiola taps on him and just goes,
100%.
Let's go to Real Madrid now. Do you know what I mean?
This idea that Erling Haaland was going to stay for 10 years and we were going to have ourselves sorted, to be honest, I think Lukaku probably ends up staying longer than Erling Haaland would have been. Do you know what I mean? That's literally that's how funny it actually is when you look at it. Like, he probably will stay here longer. He's on a 5-year contract. There's nowhere else to go really from here. It was quoted that he was always going to either go to Real Madrid or Chelsea if he was ever going to leave Inter Milan. And we came in. Now, Real Madrid are not going to come in for him when he's 30 plus. They're looking at Mbappe. We know that. And they potentially look at Erling Haaland as well as the second choice. And then when you look at it as well, so he stays for 5 years. And if he takes care of himself like he has been in the shape that he's in, there's no reason to think why he won't still be at this level at 32, 33. This is when Drogba was at his best, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? 33.
Lewandowski's 33. Lewandowski's 33. Does he look like going down? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So when you put all of that together, we're going to end up having Lukaku longer than we would have had Erling Haaland. So we probably would not have even got the best of Erling Haaland. The best might be now, which is great, but, a little bit of adaptation to the Premier League as well for someone from the Bundesliga. I think we can admit that would have had to have taken place a little bit. We've seen it before already with all of the players that we've signed from the Bundesliga recently. So there's no reason to think why that wouldn't be the case. And Erling Haaland, he's not perfect. Miz was saying that months ago. He's not the perfect striker. He's got things in his game that he needs to improve as well. His touch could be better. His certain things in his game could be better as well. So, everybody wanted him, but at the end of the day, we haven't got him. There's no point spitting the dummy out and complaining. At the end of the day, we could have ended up with nobody. I've seen this fan base starting to be quite content with, Lautaro Martinez and maybe Danny Ings or players like that. We've definitely got the best man available. You're talking about top 5 strikers in the world right now, and Lukaku, who's also been creating chances as well. Let's not forget, he's not just a goal scorer; he's actually been creating opportunities as well. Got a lot of assists last season for Lautaro Martinez. A lot of chances created the last 2 seasons at Inter even. So he's a team player. He's going to bring other players into the game, set up chances for Timo Werner, which hopefully he's not going to miss.
And you know what, Matisse? Finally, we have a striker that the opposition are going to be so worried about. As soon as they see Big Rom coming out of the gates, that structure just coming out, literally you can't see any players behind him because of his size. He will be walking down and lining up, and the opposition defenders will be like, oh my God, we're in for a big 90 minutes.
It's like Drogba. Drogba used to put fear into the life of defenders. And I think Lukaku is going to be similar because he is, like you said, such a specimen. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be a problem to deal with. You don't want to face Lukaku as a defender. If you've played football for even half a second, you're not telling me that you're looking at Lukaku and saying, I'd love to take him on because he's physical. He's going to back into you. He's going to run the channels. He can head the ball. He can finish with both feet. I've seen a lot of right foot finishes. He doesn't get enough credit for the right foot. When he needs to, he puts that ball in the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Leadership. He's a bit of a scary individual as well if he gets angry. Headbutting Ibrahimovic last season.
But how many people takes on Ibrahimovic? Not many strikers out there that take on Ibrahimovic, and he went head on with him. And he said it. There's a video with him and Jamie Carragher, I think, where he said that if my back is on a defender and he's on the outside, he goes, it's case closed. Done. It's case closed. They're never going to get me on that. It is going to be a goal. It will be a goal. So when you see a player with that much confidence, oh my God. And Thomas Tuchel, I think a new article in the Athletic just dropped as well, where they said apparently Thomas Tuchel was looking for a striker that can play with the back on the defender, so you can roll them over.
But also needs that pace because we like the pace up front. Hence the problem with Giroud as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't have a striker that could play with the back on the defenders. Like Tammy is not strong enough to. Tammy keeps falling over. He's not strong enough to do that. Timo Werner definitely does not have the technique to do that. Kai Havertz is not best suited for that. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So Lukaku, not only he will have the ability to roll a defender and go one-on-one with the keeper and bang in the goal, or he holds it up and allows Mount and Ziyech to unleash from midfield. So, oh man, we needed this. We badly needed this. City are going out there and getting Grealish and most probably Kane's going to happen. I mean, he's not even showing up for Man City. Right?
Not even showing up for training.
The man is just not showing up for training. So that's going to happen. We needed to do this, Matisse. We badly needed to do this.
We badly needed to do this, bro. And I think if we really want to cap it off with a brilliant summer, go and get that centre mid and go and get that centre back Koundé as well. And then you've had the perfect transfer window. That does involve getting rid of a few players as well. We are struggling to get rid of the deadwood, which is not really surprising. A lot of them are coming to their last year of their contract anyway. They was all signed in 2017, 18. They're all signed up to 5-year deals, and the 5-year deal expires next summer in 2022. So unless any of those guys have got new contracts since then, which Drinkwater hasn't, which Zappacosta I don't think has, then those guys should be entering the last year of their contract next summer, to my knowledge. Someone said 110%. I'm sure Agent Drogba was somewhat responsible for this move. Maybe probably potentially. And do you know what? If I don't see Drogba in that announcement, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed.
I think he will be. I'm fairly certain somewhere in that announcement, Drogba's going to say something. I think Drogba had a feeling that this was happening because they were flirting around with the whole situation in Instagram. Look, Matisse, we don't know the true story. As I've said, the Erling Haaland dream was sold to us. And maybe, as you said, look over here. Here it is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it was that. Maybe it was always Lukaku. Who knows? 100%. I don't know. And here's another different conspiracy theory that's going around that people are saying, oh, but Lukaku never wanted us. A lot of people have been saying that maybe that was just a way for Lukaku to show that he was not the one who forced the move. Yeah. He's making it seem like, well, Inter Milan accept the bid. They're the one who accepted the bid. They're the one who wants me to go. So I've just said yes. That's all I've done. I've not, banged on the door and asked them to let me go. So maybe he played a bit of a diplomatic trick over there as well. So, man, I can't wait, man, for this to be wrapped up. Big celebration. We're going to do a special when that announcement happens.
Oh, of course, we have to. Yeah. Of course. Oh, we absolutely have to. Do you know what's so great about it as well is that you've got a situation where we're going to get onto expectations when Younes comes back as well and talk a bit more about Lukaku there. But what's so great about it is he actually didn't make us, he didn't make it easy for us. He didn't say, oh, yeah, I want to join Chelsea. This is my dream move. I want this done, please. And he hands in a transfer request. He said, nope, I'm happy to stay at Inter Milan. And I'm so happy he said that because it made us and it forced us to get serious and say, I don't care what he says, we're going in serious for him. And that's probably what ended up convincing him, probably plus Thomas Tuchel. But for once, he finally saw that Chelsea were actually serious about getting him and that regardless of what he said, they wanted him. So he said no. He said, no, I'm fine. I'm happy here. And they still went after him and they still put the money down and they still pursued him. And that shows him that we're serious. So that's another great way of looking at it. I got some questions.
By the way, just quickly, guys, 900 live. You've got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. Get those likes up to 900 straight away, guys. Honestly, here's the thing. I want to get, because I've been doing this on my channel as well. I want to get personal with you guys. You guys rock up here on a weekly basis watching us three. Obviously, Younes is going to come around. You don't understand how closely related the likes are to the growth of the channel and the overall exposure of the channel. So if you love this show, you love this channel, which I can see it. The live chat always saying, Matisse, smash the like button, get it all the way up to 900. And we grow together. So
Younes will be back, people. Younes is coming back.
Those likes up.
Just had a little meeting. Younes is coming back real quick. He's coming back real quick. People, we definitely got to answer those questions that I've seen on Fofana and Kunde as well. We're going to get to that. The Podfather says to challenge, we need Ziyech 15 goals, Werner 15 goals, Kai Havertz 10 goals with Lukaku. They all need to step up. 100% they all need to step up. And I think we're going to talk about Ziyech just after we get through some of those questions. Ziyech is looking really good in pre-season and he's taking shots, man. And that's what I wanted to see. Finally, Ziyech is taking shots from outside the box because he's got the tech to do it. Everybody saw the comps. Everybody saw the goal against Valencia. And he scored there 2 goals against Arsenal, both great finishes into the far corner. So we're going to touch on Ziyech in just a second. But, I mean, Fofana obviously picked up a massive injury yesterday, a leg break, which is so sad to see, man. Very young kid, had a great season last year, borderline breaking into Team of the Year. Personally, easily could have been in it for me. Up there, with
what
Diaz.
Happened? Which player did that? That's insane.
I'm not sure.
Friendly.
For it to happen in a friendly, in a non-competitive game, for me, is what even makes it even more gut-wrenching. Because at least if it had happened in a game that mattered, you could say, all right, of course, it's an accident, didn't mean to do it. And obviously the stakes always high in competitive games. Leg breaks happen and injuries happen all the time in competitive games. But for it to happen in a friendly, in a meaningless match, for him to be out for the whole season and potentially need to now, recover for the whole season, not be back until 2023, is such a shame for him, man. And
who knows if he's even going to be at his best ever again? Do you know what I mean?
We speak about this all the time. When any player suffers an injury like that, to come back from that, and we've seen it with our own players here, it's not easy. When you get those big injuries, Zouma had a massive injury as well with his leg. He had to go back out on loan to Stoke, then to Everton, and climbed his way back up to get here. It took him a long time. That's how long it takes, people. So it's such a shame for Fofana because he had an unreal year, and suddenly now he's got an injury. Does that and in an unfortunate way, that kind of all links to what I'm about to talk about, which is the defender situation, because now that he's picked up that huge injury, it puts Leicester in a precarious position because I think Evans is injured, and they've only got a couple of other options, but they don't come anywhere near close to Fofana's level. So maybe
get Zouma, bro.
Maybe they need to get Zouma. Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, he's available for around 30 million, isn't he? And Zouma, I think Zouma would fit in like a glove at Leicester. That would be great signing for them, to be honest. It really would. They play a back four. He's played Premier League football now a lot. You know, yeah, they tried to play with possession, but they also don't mind hitting people in transition as well. But Zouma's a great recovery defender as well to play in a high line. And yeah, I think Zouma would fit like a glove over there. And it's a great team for him to actually go to. It's not a team that undermines his ability. You know, Leicester are constantly challenging for Champions League football. They're in Europe. They got a great manager as well in Brendan Rodgers. Actually might be able to help him in possession, potentially coach him up to the level he needs to be at on the ball for a team. And yeah, I think it's the perfect move for him. Apparently he wants to stay in England as well. Hence why he didn't go to Sevilla. He's rejected West Ham because of the wages. So that's not going to happen. So you run out of options if you're Zouma to stay in the country. And Leicester can certainly, you know, I don't think it goes against their transfer strategy to spend 30 million on Zouma. I think that's a good buy from them in terms of recruitment. So what do you make of that?
Matisse, honestly, Arsenal, Zouma looked fire. Spurs, Zouma looked even more fire. The way he recovered that tackle on Son, that last minute tackle, boom, clean, hits the ball and destroys Son. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely destroys him. I honestly got up like as if there was a goal being scored. I was like, oh my days, that's powerful, man. That's the kind of defending that, you know, the opposition feels worried about. So it's sad that we're going to let someone like him go, but it is what it is. Thomas Tuchel fancies a different style of a defender, but Leicester, if, you know, Maddison apparently is very, I don't know whether it's close to Arsenal, perhaps it is. Now Fofana, you need to be worried. You don't want to go backwards. You've been doing well, continue to go forward, crack into the top four, which is going to be very difficult anyway. But someone like Zouma will ensure you're solid at the back at least. Make it difficult for others to beat you. Do you know what I mean? And then maybe you can sneak a 1-0 goal and win matches. They should be all over Kurt Zouma. Kurt Zouma, I don't know whether... I know he fancies London. He's thinking about West Ham. But apparently the West Ham deal, they can't seem to pay him his... Yeah,
that won't be happening,
fees and whatnot. So, bro, that's a good deal for Zouma. That really is.
Good deal for everybody.
For Leicester as well.
Yeah, it's a great deal for everyone. You know, Leicester...
Chalobah as well, Matisse. Chalobah is one that Leicester need to look at, man.
Yeah, and maybe for a loan. I mean, you take a look at, obviously, Samari signing. That was a good deal. So that's kind of covered them for the Maddison situation. They're looking for around 70 million for Maddison, minimum 60. If they get that money, they have the money then to pay for Zouma. So again, we're starting to see the transfer window. Everything's ticking over now. All the deals are starting to get wrapped up. Things are starting to fall into place. We've got our own little triangle of Lukaku, Zapata, and potentially Abraham in Italy. So that's a little triangle very similar to the Batshuayi Giroud Aubameyang one that we spoke about many weeks ago as well when we were saying farewells to Giroud. Now the cards are starting to fall. The domino effect is what we're seeing here now in the transfer market. Teams are purchasing Ings. So now Ings is gone. If you need a striker, now you need to move for Abraham because Ings is gone. And it's just a little, you know, it's just a domino effect that's taking place. So yeah, things are starting to get wrapped up very quickly. Trevor Chalobah, great name to bring up, had a great performance against Arsenal as well. Would you like to, I prefer him to go out on loan, isn't it? I don't think there's a need for him to, I mean, look, he could stay, and if we don't get Koundé, he could stay and be that backup player and play the cup games. But I personally think he's better than playing cup games. I think he needs to go out on loan as well, get some regular game time and play regular minutes. And I think, you know, there's no reason why he couldn't be looking for a Premier League move. He played in Ligue 1 for Lorient and played brilliantly in multiple systems, in multiple formations as well. He's played DM, he's played centre-back. So if I said before, if we don't get a centre-back or a DM, he could fill in and deputise for either of those roles because he knows how to sit and he knows how to play centre-back evidently in these friendlies. But what would be best for him is to probably go and get some regular game time out on loans probably. But, I mean, what do you think for Trevor?
Bro, I am so impressed. I am so impressed by Trevor Chalobah. Every single one of these preseason games, he's shown why Matisse is touted so much in the French league. So, look, you're right. I don't want to lose this particular player. I don't want to lose him, loan him, to another Premier League team or back in France. if he is to be sold, Matisse, we better sell him for something ridiculous. It needs to be at least near 30 million because this guy is good. He's shown the quality in the middle of the three centre-backs. He's shown the quality on the right side. He's shown the quality on the left side. I've got no doubt he could play at DM because that's what he played in Lorient as well. So, oh, man, now we got a player here. We definitely have a player. How old is he, by the way?
He
should be young. Let's have a look.
Age-wise, I think he's 21. I think age-wise, but I'll let you check it. I'm just seeing on Twitter now update from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea are prepared to sell Tammy Abraham abroad if an agreement can be reached with Atalanta. Meeting in the next days to open talks. So Chelsea, Tammy Abraham to Atlanta. Negotiations are going to start in the next few days. There's a meeting already being held between the two clubs. And Atalanta are ready to offer 40 million euros for Tammy, but only in case Inter will ask for Zapata as potential Lukaku replacement. So again, once Lukaku's done, then Inter Milan need a striker. If they take on Zapata, then Atlanta need a striker. That's where Tammy comes into it. Obviously, this would need Tammy to actually want to go to Atalanta as well. But if this deal can get done, it would be brilliant for all parties. All parties, this would be a brilliant deal. So
Atalanta's in the Champions League. This is a no-brainer for Tammy, honestly.
It really is. You shouldn't be rejecting this for me. If I know you got to uproot and you got to leave the country for the first time, but you only have to look at Sancho and look at Tomori and all these players that are fighting for their England place in the World Cup. If you want to go to that World Cup, you need to prioritize playing in the best place and not just being comfortable in the city and staying in London. And for me, Atalanta is a far better proposition than Arsenal and West Ham combined. Because at Arsenal, do they create high quality chances all the time in every game? Not really. Arsenal, I've seen Arteta sometimes go way too defensive. I've seen them play awful football and I've seen them not create too much with Aubameyang up front. You look at West Ham, does he even suit the style? Is he going to do the same job Antonio is going to do? A lot of West Ham fans don't seem to think so. And David Moyes is not the most attacking team to go into. They thrived off the transition with Lingard a lot at the end of last season. You go to the Atalanta, you're getting chances every 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is ridiculous the volume that they create chances at. They're just such an entertaining team to watch, such a fun team to play for. And you go into a league that's certainly going to improve you tactically. You're going to have to get more physical because they're going to, the Italian defenders do push more to their physique in terms of that and not their pace. You're just going to have to improve those weaknesses in your game, similar to what Lukaku did before when he was at Manchester United. So I think if he wants to improve himself, and he's going to work for a great manager as well in Atalanta as well.
I was just going to say Gasperini. This guy is an up-and-coming manager, man. Like, you thought Sarri ball was something. Wait till you see Gasperini ball. My days. Like, this is what I'm worried about. Tammy better have his head screwed on. Like, he better understand the patterns because it's all about the patterns over there. So, man, he's going to get Champions League football. He's going to be able to showcase his talent at the highest level. And Atalanta is no slouch, man. As someone said, Atalanta over Arsenal, and they were laughing. Yeah,
100%. You're literally not in Europe this season. I'm not playing. I think sometimes Arsenal fans forget where they've fallen or how far they've fallen. You're not in Europe. You're legit behind West Ham and Leicester right now in terms of European places. Even Tottenham secured a European place. Aston Villa are up your arse this season in terms of their recruitment. You're not in a good position. Only Ben White has improved your starting 11. You're not in a good position whatsoever. You've got a manager that's not really equipped to take you much further either. So when I say Atalanta is a better proposition than Arsenal, I'm not joking. You haven't played Champions League football since Arteta played on the football pitch. It's not looking good.
Atalanta is going to absolutely pile drive Arsenal if they were to play.
If they were to play Arsenal, they would absolutely murder them. It would be an onslaught. Do you know how many opportunities they would create against that Arsenal team with Bellerin at right back? Oh my grief. And you still, and then no party as well. And you got Xhaka in midfield with someone else. Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Someone in the chat saying we are disgraced for calling Lukaku world class. Okay. I mean, what do you define as world class then? Because he scored 30 goals last year with 10 assists, been scoring goals at every single level since he came into professional football. Anderlecht, West Brom, Everton, Manchester United, Inter Milan. I think he's top goal scorer for his country now in Belgium. What do you want me to call him? He's one of the best strikers in the world. You can't name me 5 strikers better in the world than Lukaku. You got
watch them say Dusan Vlahovic. Watch that same person say Dusan Vlahovic.
I mean, you can go Lewandowski, Kane, Erling Haaland, Benzema.
Mbappe. I mean, you take him as a striker.
Yeah, I don't know if I even count Mbappe as a striker like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
He kind of goes all over the place. I'm talking about nines, not like wingers, because then you say Neymar and Messi, and like I'm talking about nines, like Suarez, like Lewandowski, like Benzema, like Kane, Lukaku. I'm talking about nines, like strikers, like lone striker up front on your own, back to goal, whatever you need, it gets done. Striker. I'm not talking about floaters and wingers turned into strikers. That's a whole different conversation. They're not even the same profile. Number 9s, you can't name me 5 better than Lukaku in the last 2 seasons on form. You can't do it. Had a brilliant Euros with Belgium as well. You simply can't do it. You can't do it. Super chat here from Paul Jr. saying Anjorin versus Loftus-Cheek, who stays?
Ooh, I had this conversation on my review yesterday. This is a serious question, Paul Jr. I like it. I like what you've done here. Let me give my 2 cents, and then I'll let Matisse sort of marinate his answer in his mind, because I know Matisse is a massive fan of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But Anjorin, he looked fire yesterday. It's his first game. He looked so good. He wanted to do so well. His movement was electric. He looked like the version of Ruben Loftus-Cheek that we want to see now. They both physically look the same sort of structure. Anjorin had a left foot shot against Spurs yesterday that took some sort of saving from that new goalkeeper.
Brilliant run from him, wasn't it? Great.
Yeah, he just drove through the middle, cut back with his left and thumped it, man. You know what, Matisse? We better watch this player. We can't let him go.
Well, listen,
this guy's
everybody should know of his talent already. Do you know what I mean? He's been kicking up storm in under 23s for so long. He's way outgrown that league in terms of the PL2. He should be going out. For me, he should be going out on loan to the Bundesliga, or maybe he should. The reason why I say that is because he has not had any regular first team football. He's already been floating around the first team last season. He played in Frank's first season. I think he played some Carabao Cup game, maybe against Grimsby. He's already been training with the first team. He's already been floating around. He doesn't need to do that again. We don't have any space for him in the team right now. You got Ziyech, you got Pulisic, you got Hudson-Odoi, you got Mount, you got Kai, you got Lukaku, you got Werner, all in that front three. There's no space for him to play regular minutes. He needs to go out on loan, and he needs to play football. Loftus-Cheek doesn't need another loan. Loftus-Cheek needs to prove that this is it. This is the last chance. This is the last dance. You're either playing or you're not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I would personally keep Loftus-Cheek here and loan out Tino Anjorin. Let Tino Anjorin raise his stock. Let him have a great season. Let him show the quality on a regular basis. Let him mature. Let him go outside of the club for the first time. Because I think a lot of people forget when you make these loan moves, and now it's only Hudson-Odoi that hasn't. Gilmore's even gone out as well. When you make these loan moves, you move away from home, you move away from your comforts, you move away sometimes and have to learn a new language. It matures you and makes you into a man, turns you from a boy to a man. And that's important, do you know what I mean, in your development. It's not just about having talent, it's about having, the mentality, knowing how to go through hardship, knowing how to deal with, adversity, knowing how to have responsibility in a team. You go out on loan now, they're going to need you to play well. You're not coming into the Chelsea team and doing your thing whenever you can. You have pressure on you. And that's what a player that talented needs. So, yeah, you can say Greenwood didn't go out on loan. We're not Man United, we're Chelsea. And I'm talking about Chelsea here. I'm not talking about a team that haven't won a trophy in 4 years. I'm talking about a competitive team that are trying to win trophies. Yes, that's right. I'm going to piss off a lot of Man United fans, but it is what it is. Chelsea... we use our own method of success. We've had our players go out on loan. Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy. Now we're recouping money. Tomori, now we recoup money. Mark Gurhey, we recoup money. in terms of it consistently shows that if they go out on loan, they're more likely to make it in our first team, because our first team is highly competitive, and our first team, it's a lot of politics. It's a lot of politics. And what I mean by that is you need to have proved yourself, and you need to have shown what you can do in first team football at the highest level. So when you come back, not only does the manager rate you, but the other first team players rate you as well. And that's how you get yourself into the team a lot more. Look at when Tuchel came in. Gilmour was straight fourth choice immediately. Not because he's not a good player, but because maybe Tuchel hasn't seen enough of him in first team football. He hasn't got that pedigree. He hasn't got that profile in terms of stature. When you go out on loan and you show what you can do, instantly you get that respect. You get that stature. Okay, cool. He's gone out. He's shown what he can do. Cool. You're not going to get that by just being here unless you're generational level in terms of your talent, and you're ripping people up in training for fun. So, yeah, I think you definitely need to make that move.
I do like your shout of the Bundesliga. I think that would be perfect for Anjorin to learn his attacking side of things. Let's be honest, he'll be mostly an attacker. Obviously, he'll have to defend and whatnot and track back and all of that. But somewhere like Dortmund, Leipzig, Wolfsburg, like they play good football. So, yeah, man, that's a big shout, Matisse. Honestly, that's a good one. I would love to see him there.
That league is perfect for him, man. Get them long legs stretched out and start galloping all over the place on them transitions where there's loads of space. Defenders leave you wide open. It's just about getting that first team football, getting that confidence, putting your name in the hat for the following season. So yeah, 100%. I would be looking to do that if I was him, because if he doesn't do that, I don't see him breaking past all of those players that we've paid money for. Again, people, yes, we want to do this off form, but in order to gain form, you need to build up some sort of game time. And in order to get some game time, you need to be trusted. In order to be trusted, you need to have some evidence behind your name. And he hasn't got any evidence at the moment. He's just got some cameos. We've got way too many players in that position. It's the same thing I said with Charlie Masunda when people wanted to do a homecoming thing for him and they were hoping that potentially he would get a chance. Personally, I don't see it with Masunda either. There's just no space in the team. He needs to be sold and he needs to go and have his career and he needs to go and play his football. He had a long injury, long time out of football. Only gave, I think, 30% chance of returning. Doctors gave him. He's back now. Fantastic. But is he going to reach the level of this Chelsea team against fully fit, seasoned internationals that have been playing regularly, that we paid money for, that we've invested in? Again, highly doubt it. So he just needs to move. And you got to be unselfish as a Chelsea fan sometimes and say, yeah, I want everything. I want this. I want that. I want this player to succeed. But try and be unselfish sometimes and look at the player's career. If you was the dad of that player, what would you be advising them to do? And I highly doubt many of you would be advising Masunda to stay at Chelsea to try and break past Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Kai.
Bro, Masunda's injured. Do you mean he's again injured? Like he's not featured in this preseason. I know there was some, the disease as well that he's caught, but injury played a little bit. Like he had some slight niggly injury. He's not gonna. He's not gonna make it.
He needs to go.
It's another Van Ginkel.
Van Ginkel, yeah, great example, brilliant example, yeah.
So, it is.
Younes is back. We're gonna add him in a second, just when I can see he's all good to go. No rush, my brother. There. All right. The third amigo returns. There we go. There we go. We was just talking about a bit about preseason. We spoke about Trevor Chalobah. We spoke about obviously Abraham's exit. It looks like Atalanta and Chelsea are having a meeting in the next few days to discuss the 40 million euro deal. And obviously spoke about, Kurt Zouma potentially replacing Fofana after that injury for Leicester last night as well, and how that could lead to then potentially Koundé coming in as well, which at this point Koundé is buzzing to join. We saw the quotes, he's ready. We know the fee at this point that it's going to take, I'd assume. So to just restart negotiations, we're going to just need to get rid of Zouma, because it would just be irresponsible to have Zouma on the books while signing Koundé. Koundé just seems like a deal that might be done in maybe a week or 2 weeks time, or we'll start up again and it will be a late deal. And I don't have a problem with that, because our defense is sorted anyway. Our defense is very good. Koundé doesn't need to be here training early with the preseason and getting used to starting with the team as soon as the first game comes around. We've got a great defense. He can come in late in the window and just train and work his way slowly into the team. I want to go back to Lukaku's expectations. I'm going to just fly through some of these super chats and then we're going to go back to Lukaku, because when you arrive for 130 million euros, it's fair to say if he scores 5 goals, it'll be a problem. Timo, with his decoy runs, Kante tackles, and Lukaku with the hold-up and clinical finishing, we have the chance to challenge the best in the league. 100% agree. When you make a signing like this, you need to be challenging. And for me, we need to be going for that Champions League back-to-back while those big hitters are down, man. When Real Madrid and Barca are down, you've got to take advantage and gather up as many Champions League medals as you can. Lukaku is on pace to break Alan Shearer's record, but I'm supposed to think he's not world-class. Is that true? I think Harry Kane is. I don't think Lukaku is. I think he's been...
No, so the word there is if Lukaku stays with Chelsea, so it's a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
And he stays the whole 5 years.
Okay.
And he bangs in average of 20 goals a season.
Okay.
For the 5 years. He will have gone beyond Alan Shearer. And that's unbelievable thinking, because Alan Shearer has played how many years of Premier League? And Lukaku, how many years of Premier League? So essentially, as I was saying, Matisse, this is quite possible. If we're expecting 20 goals from Lukaku every season in his prime till the end of his contract, which is not far-fetched at all, this could possibly happen. Like if he stays fit and everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of variables to it. Of course, he's got to stay fit and he's got to play all those games as well. And we've got to make sure that we give him those chances and everything. But yeah, under Thomas Tuchel, I wouldn't rule it out. You know what I mean? But let's get on to his expectations. I mean, Younes, with this player coming in, with his track record, just off the bat, how many goals in the Premier League starting off? And then we'll go all competitions. But just starting bread and butter, 38 games, what you're guaranteed to get. How many goals do you expect from Lukaku in his first season back?
Thing is, there you are. You've answered the question in your question pretty much. His first season back, he's been here.
Yeah,
already. It's not like someone that's new to the Premier League. He started off in the Premier League, and he's gone off and he's developed and he's coming back stronger. So I'm honestly, there's no need for him to adapt or anything like that. He doesn't need a phase. He's going to hit the ground running straight away. So my expectation, to be honest, first season with the chances we create and you look at just last season, the way we were playing, the amount of missed opportunities we had. Someone as clinical as Lukaku, you're expecting 20 a season minimum.
Yeah, facts. I was going to agree with that.
I mean,
someone said 15. That's way too low. Way too low.
It's low because
Tammy got 15.
Exactly. You know that he's going to be playing literally every single game, or as much games as possible, unless if we have to rotate. So when you're looking at that, he's not a striker that you just expect to score 1 goal every 3 games. No, you're expecting him to score 1, hopefully every game. When he does score, hopefully 2. If it's 3, fantastic. But you're looking at him to get braces. You're looking at him to come close to hat tricks. That's the sort of striker we're getting here. So I would say on average, 20 goals, first season back, I'm happy.
Yeah, he needs to have that Diego Costa title winning season, doesn't he? Under Conte or Mourinho, he needs to have one of those ones. Miz, what about you for goal expectations in the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, we're bringing this particular player to challenge for the title. And in order to challenge for the title, Jorginho cannot be the top scorer. It's as simple as that. So we need minimum 20 goals from Romelu Lukaku. And I've got no doubt he'll do that because, as I said, someone said, the XG is such a, I don't like stats like that. Mate, honestly, you need to understand. XG literally means that amount of clear-cut chances that should have been goals.
Yeah.
That should have been goals. So we're talking about when Timo Werner, when he's right in front of the goals and he's skying it over the bar, that should be a goal. So
when the ball comes in from Reece James and nobody can even get their toe on the end of it for the 5th time in a row, I don't know if that counts, but that should be a goal too.
That should be a goal. So whether you like XG or not, it matters because it tells you one thing, that the team is creating chances. You just need the right player to put those chances away. So the whole ideology of XG is that eventually those chances will be eaten up. There are certain teams, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Erling Haaland himself. His XG is something ridiculous. He's actually expected to score 20, and he scored 25. He's scoring more than his expectation.
He scored more goals than he was meant to score.
So
how did he even do that?
So what that means is he's scoring the goals that should not even be goals.
It shouldn't even be goals, yeah.
He's making up his own expectations. So this is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I mean, you know, Lukaku, I don't expect him to start doing those numbers like Haaland does, but at least bang in the goals that you're meant to. And then we'll be sweet. If you do that, we will be there or thereabouts to winning the league. Simple as that.
Do you know what, as well, is going to be interesting to see now who steps up alongside him, because there's 3 players in that front three. And, you know, we spoke about it a lot last season towards the pivotal Champions League run. If even 2 more players step up with Mason Mount, who wasn't even banging in goals, but we know his role is slightly different to come back into that midfield pivot and be a 8/10/whatever. If even 2 players step up with Player of the Year, then we're dancing, we're living life. And Lord and behold, in the end, it was Kai Havertz in that Champions League final. At times it was Ziyech against Manchester City. At times it was Werner in the semi-final against Real Madrid. But no one consistently stepped up.
Yeah.
And we know Lukaku's playing up front, so that's done. I'll be shocked if Player of the Year Mason Mount doesn't weasel his way back into that team after coming back late at some point. Yeah, he's probably not going to start the season there. But listen, this brother has already shown that it's going to be very difficult to get him out of that team. I'd expect him to be at that team with the wing-backs pushing forward as well, to add some balance with the pivot, especially if Kante doesn't play sometimes, because you need to look after him. So if Kova and Jorginho are playing that pivot, Mason Mount absolutely has to start in that midfield. Then there's only one spot left, but there will be rotation. So it will be interesting to see if Mason Mount's minutes do drop this season because of Lukaku coming in that front three. I mean, it's going to be crazy to think about it. Ziyech obviously is having a great preseason. We have to talk about him. I mean, Miz, what's your expectations for Ziyech? Because I've been long saying that Ziyech is in his prime. He's more than capable of adding goals to this team. Assists, I don't really want to judge anybody last season because the conversion rate was so poor that everybody's assists is down from what it should be. But goals-wise, he's more than capable of getting 10 goals in the league, I think.
I just want to demonstrate something. It's time to bring the tactical board out, ladies and gentlemen. 1,000
people in.
I want to demonstrate something because it's important to understand what's happening here, because people need to understand Ziyech a lot better. And I spend a lot of time analyzing him. I am in complete love with this player, emotionally attached. The boys know this. I'm wearing his jersey right now.
You must have loved last night then.
Yeah, lots of love.
Such a good finish.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a tweak here that Thomas Tuchel has done, and we need to understand this. Ziyech was playing more as this last season.
Yes.
All right, and that area was not completely suited for him for a few reasons. I'll tell you why. This particular brother was not playing. Because it was Reece James, and when it's Reece James or when it's Azpilicueta, they're not as dynamic as this guy is, moving up and down. They're more here. So what it does for Ziyech is he's isolated. He will start here, and literally the defenders will come in, and it's not at his benefit to be isolated. What's happening now is Callum has been directed by Thomas Tuchel to start his position here in the attack. So Callum is not even a right wing back. We've already touched on this last week, right? And what's happening here is Chalobah, in that last game, and whoever it is, maybe it's Jules Koundé, maybe it's Reece James, maybe it's Azpilicueta, I don't know. Yeah. Whoever it's there will end up being the right back. And the other thing that we saw yesterday is Marcos Alonso wasn't consistently here. He was more in and around the midfield because Timo Werner likes this sort of area around there, right?
For one of the chances, just to stop you, Timo Werner was actually on the byline, and it was Alonso making the run into the box as an inverted fullback. And he loves to make that run because not only can he get shots off, he's probably better than shooting at Timo Werner right now. He likes to get into the box to take those shots, but also I was quite impressed with Alonso. He was picking out people quite well with cutbacks. He was actually going for individuals. He made a good switch across to Hudson-Odoi as well. He wasn't just slashing it across the box. He was actually picking people out. So that's quite an interesting combination there that you're talking about.
And you know why? I think Thomas Tuchel, another tweak he's realized is having Alonso here is detrimental to space around here. He's not the quickest player that can come back when he's here and run all the way back. Chilwell can do that. So that's why he was sort of asked to be in and around this sort of area. And Timo Werner is more there. And that's why you did see the underlapping runs. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, moving back to the Ziyech situation, when Callum is starting here, what it does is everyone's thinking, oh, Ziyech is an inside forward. No, he's not. He literally drops here. Yeah. And then what happens is this guy, Callum, who's had a phenomenal preseason, can give Ziyech an option on the right side. So what all of a sudden happens is Ziyech is empty. There is no one on him. And this is where he becomes the most explosive player, in my opinion, in this Chelsea Football Club. Because he literally now has the ability to find that pass towards Callum, and Callum is released from this side, and he can start doing the havoc. He can then start putting those passes in between the lines to find either Werner or in here to find Havertz. Or what we saw where Kante ended up winning the ball in this area, he was the first to pick up the ball and literally no one was around him. Every defender had a player to mark because Callum gives a massive headache to the opposition because they don't know whether they're going to drop deep with Ziyech or they're going to focus on Callum. And generally, they focus on Callum because of
this. This is why the club were potentially looking at Hakimi, because Hakimi and Ziyech, that link up with Morocco would have been unbelievable. They understand each other. They understand each other like the back of your hand. And that is why I was starting to get so excited about Hakimi, because Reece James, for me, I've always advocated for potentially him moving into the right side centre-back position. He's physical, he's strong, he's good defensively, he brings the ball out as well, and he's played in midfield, so he knows how to take up those central spaces. And you can still push forward and make those crosses as well from the Azpilicueta Conte position. You put an attacking wing-back like Hudson-Odoi, not only can you do what Miz is saying and change to a back four if you've got Chilwell, he slots into left-back and comes even further back than a wing-back in Alonso, but you get that outlet out wide that Hakim Ziyech needs. And this Ziyech position that he's in centrally now reminds me a lot of where Mason Mount would have been when we was playing well at the end of last season as well, where, like you're saying, in transition, you win the ball in midfield, Kante wins the ball, Jorginho picks it up, you get out of that initial press, and it was always Mason Mount on those half turns in that number 10 position with acres of space. And I think you'll see a lot this season, it will either be Mason Mount or Hakim Ziyech playing in that role where you have that space in that 10. I don't think they'll both play because you'll need that runner and you'll need that person that can get those goals like a Werner, maybe a Hudson-Odoi at left wing if he can fix his shooting, a Havertz playing just off Lukaku. But that 10, 10/8 midfielder, because Ziyech has played centrally for Ajax. He knows how to press. He knows how to get involved with a midfield. He knows how to work off the ball. I've criticised him a few times last season for being a bit lazy, but we have to take into account he had injuries, 2 injuries in the season, one at the start and one midway. And he has a very messed up preseason as well. So, we got to give Ziyech a fresh, clean slate here this season. He's had a perfect preseason, no injuries, proper holiday as well. And now, hopefully, he can be a bit more active in off the ball as well. Because if he can do what he needs to do off the ball with the counter press, then he could be playing in that position a lot more often. And you can give Mason Mount more rest.
And yesterday, go on, Younes. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, really quick. To interject, I think this whole analysis you've made and the way that we're talking about all the different players that can play in loads of different roles and positions just illustrates with the players that we're linked with what Thomas Tuchel's actually after with this team, which is versatility. Yeah. Pure versatility. Every single player we're linked with seems to be someone that is versatile or that's going to unlock another player to go and adapt to another role. Like we're saying with Ziyech not being isolated or being able to cut inside forward or even move centrally to where you've demonstrated he is. With the centre-backs moving across, you're looking at Reece James, who can play as a wing-back but doesn't sort Ziyech out, so him moving to right centre-back, for example. But if we bring in a Koundé, for example, that allows Koundé to come into that role and give us another option to have Reece James move into that wing-back position if we don't play Hudson-Odoi there. Azpilicueta is an option. There seems to be so many different combinations and different roles that these players can play now. It's a Thomas Tuchel masterfest.
It is.
It's his dreamland.
He is a manager.
Beautiful.
He is so good tactically, and he's so pragmatic and flexible.
Exactly.
Whether he wants to be attacking, conservative, counter, transitions, or just go all out, on the front foot. He's got so much versatility to his management. The more tools and options that you give him, the better the team becomes. Because look at that Trevor Chalobah position. All these players
have different roles that they can play now, and different.
Yeah.
Look at this Trevor Chalobah position. I want to pinpoint on this. He potentially, for me, should be going out on loan and getting regular first-team football in the Premier League after the season he just had. He doesn't need to be fifth choice in our Carabao Cup games and coming on and playing bit-part minutes. He's too good for that, as we've seen in pre-season. And this is where Zouma doesn't fit the team maybe as well as a Jules Koundé, because now in possession, you put Koundé where Chalobah is. He's one of the best young players up and coming in that position.
Yeah.
Someone that can carry the ball, somebody that wants to move forward and potentially get in line where Marcos Alonso is.
See, you guys were laughing at me when I said 2 at the back and 2 up front. Now you see.
Do you know what this means, though? And do you know what this means for me? Is that this is why I think Chelsea, for me, need to purchase another midfielder. Or they need to look at in-house at who's going to sit. Whether Chalobah becomes that sitter in the midfield and he moves into that 2, or it's an Ampadu or someone if you don't sign Tuchel, because you need those players in that pivot there to sit. You need Kova, Kante, Jorginho. You need them to be pretty stationary if you're going to allow these many players to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to get caught and you're going to leave the 2 centre-backs open a bit. So it can change to a back 4 pretty quickly with Koundé or Aspi or James shuffling across and moving forward in that right-back position. And we've said that so many times on this show. How many times have we said if we get an attacking right wing-back with Chilwell, we can move and shuffle across to a back 4? We've said it so many times.
People were arguing when we were linked with Hakimi. Oh, but is this necessary? Yeah, it was necessary. Believe me, it was necessary. And the reason was that we were not getting the purchase that we should be getting from the right side. So anyway, look, come back to this particular point.
Even bringing Koundé in could unlock a Hudson-Odoi to do that.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly.
It does for me. Yeah,
exactly. So then someone like Ziyech has the ability to just do madness right in front of him, and there's literally no player on him. That's why we saw that goal where he picked up the ball from Spurs and there was no one and everyone was backtracking. They were going either to Callum, they were going to Havertz, they were going to Werner, and Ziyech just drifts in. And this is where Ziyech becomes lethal right there. And then you know that left foot's just going to unleash. No keeper on their best, even on their best day, will be able to stop the kind of shot that he put yesterday. And not just the first shot, even the second shot. I've got to be lucky, but he was in that particular position. So now a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, but Miz, where's Mount going to fit in all of this?"
I was just going to ask that. Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, okay, I need to ask. And this is the beautiful thing, because we know Thomas Tuchel is going to switch things about. He doesn't play one set team and that's it. There's going to be different systems for different opponents for different days. Simple as that. But where does Mount fit?
So I must shout out this particular person, because I've got Ryan who helps me out with these tactical analysis a lot on my channel. And I asked him the same thing as well. And he blew my mind with this particular conversation. He said, and hear me out, he goes, this guy is in trouble. This guy, if he doesn't start banging in goals, yes, the movement, the pace, and everything that he provides, like he's got the ability to behind, to run in behind. He's got the ability to track back and then create space for Havertz over here. So he's got all of that. But the thing that he does, that he's getting the money for, is to bang in goals, and that's something that he's not doing. So he could be in trouble, and the reason being is someone like Mount. If we change this up. And this is where Chilwell's game comes into play as well. So if we now start having a look at something like this, Mount basically will have to drop deep as well and create, space at the back. And then you need someone like Chilwell to drive into these areas. So that is the variation that you could end up seeing, is something like this, where you have 4 ball players in the middle, and then you still have ball players in the back as well. And Callum, and in this case, Chilwell.
Because you saw that pass with Ziyech, he tries that a lot, which he did against us for Ajax. He loves that pass from the right to the left, and it's usually the left fullback or left winger that's making the run towards the back post. And Ziyech is obviously, he's good at finding that pass. So Chilwell will be someone that'll be looking to get to the back post. He scored a couple goals last season as well.
Everything is about finding a gap in between. Everything is about in between and having players in between. That's what it's all about. You don't want this Do you know what I mean?
No.
You want where passes can be made in between the lines all the time. So no one can be marked really. And if you want to, like say someone like Havertz drops in, then you're going to get Cho attacking these areas. Then you get Mount attacking these areas. So you better be careful. And every single one of them are ball players.
Do you know? Well, sorry. I mean, in this, for example, and that's illustrated perfectly with the men we have on the pitch. But now we know we're getting Lukaku. Who comes off from this team?
Now, I've not thought about it that deep. When Lukaku comes in, I'm not Thomas Tuchel. But
when Lukaku comes in, Werner's at even more risk for me. Because Lukaku can do a lot of what Werner can do. And Tony Stone with the super chat, really appreciate it. I had it up on the screen. I just locked it in my brain there to answer. He said, what is some of the weaknesses of Lukaku? And to be honest, you're not going to get too many weaknesses for me in Lukaku's game. The only weakness to Lukaku is the fact that him being left-footed, if you want to put him in Havertz's position there, or Ziyech, he wants to operate regardless in that right channel, being a left-footed striker. He loves to make those runs down the right. He loves to cut in on his left foot. Yes, he can obviously take the ball in the box and he can score from in the box as well. But Lukaku is best in that right channel, in that right half space between the left back and the left side centre back. And the only weakness to that is that's exactly where Kai wants to operate, and it's exactly where Ziyech wants to operate as well. So we've got quite a lot of players, and I personally, I don't see all of these guys on the pitch at the same time. So you're not going to have, for me, too often this season, Kai, Ziyech, and Lukaku on the pitch together at the same time. I'd be surprised. It would mean for me that Havertz needs to move to the left-hand side of this front three. Ziyech would stay where Ziyech is in the 10, and Lukaku would play on the right. It could work, but Kai on that left-hand side, it could work. He's very, very versatile. He doesn't just, have to stay in one position. But again, I don't expect to see it too often. But Lukaku coming into that team puts Werner at more risk for me, even more, because he's willing to do the dog work. He's willing to make the runs down the channels, the same runs that Werner makes, but he'll finish. He's got the heading ability as well. So when the crosses come in from Hudson-Odoi or Reece James, Lukaku will be in that box ready to score the headers. He should have the anticipation and the awareness to get on the end of the low crosses as well. But he's also going to do those runs into the channel that Werner's doing. He's going to finish as well. So I think the biggest threat to Werner in this team is obviously Mason Mount, obviously because he's player of the year, but also Lukaku, and whether Werner can match Lukaku's goal output. He doesn't have the pressure to do so, but if he's missing chances, then you don't need him on the pitch because we have a striker on the pitch already. You don't need two strikers on the pitch at the same time.
I'm going to put a spanner in the works here really quickly. Where's Pulisic?
Pulisic's in danger this season.
People are going to laugh at me, but there's a reason why he's playing here. There's a reason why he's played in this particular position the last two games, because I reckon Thomas Tuchel wants to see if Pulisic can do what Callum's doing. It's not preferred, but I'm sorry, Pulisic. This team is just full of unbelievable players. So
some players are going to get sacrificed here. Big.
Some players are going to get sacrificed.
Or there'll be big rotation. Everyone has to be on the same page and just listen to Thomas Tuchel. And regardless his decision, if you're playing, you're playing. If you're not, just deal with it.
Exactly. Look, I've had to squeeze in Lukaku where Havertz is, and then move Havertz as one of the 10s, and I've still got Mount as the rotational player. Or Mount will start, and then the others will rotate. Pulisic in this situation, it will be very difficult. It will be very, very difficult. So that's why he's playing. I think he's been playing or tried out in that wing-back position. Thomas Tuchel, I think in his recent article for the Fifth Stand also said he's played that for Tuchel at Dortmund. Apparently, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but apparently Pulisic did play that. But Pulisic has to be. I think Callum is way ahead of him in that particular position now. A lot of people disregard this. They think Callum should be playing on the left. Yes, it may be his preferred position or best position, but Callum is now becoming a very advanced level wing-back player. He really is, because he's tracking back. He's got that intensity. He's taking players on one-on-one. He understands the defensive side of the game, off the ball as well. Pulisic lacks that off the ball quality. And even on the ball, he looks a bit out of it at the moment. But look, for him, it's very important to stay fit, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens after. I think that's probably the position.
We have such a big opportunity here. A huge opportunity. if the players can all be on the same page and there's no, I want this, I want that, oh, I'm not playing, I'm going to cause a fuss. If everyone can get on the same page, and if Thomas Tuchel can get all of these different combinations to click regardless of who's playing. So if it's Havertz, Lukaku, Ziyech, for example, if it's Mount, Lukaku, Havertz, if it's Pulisic on the right-hand side with Havertz next to him, Lukaku or someone else, if it's not Lukaku, Mount, if it's not Mount, it's Kai Havertz. If all of those different combinations can be worked on, so regardless of who's on the pitch, it clicks and it works. Trust me, oppositions are not going to have a clue what the starting 11 is going to be every single week. It could change and we'd still be good.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We can catch any opponent out in an instant if everything just clicks and Thomas Tuchel can get every combination to work. I think that's a massive opportunity because we save legs. We'll still have top team playing every single week. We would still be getting goals and getting results. Everyone will be happy. Honestly, it's such an opportunity.
If we somehow recruitment wise can finish off this window the way that we should, because right now this team's brilliant, and right now this team for me, if you was to give us the strongest possible squad that we can pick out of all the players we have at Chelsea, obviously minus the deadwood, you keep Zouma and you don't bring in Koundé, and you keep Loftus-Cheek and you don't get in the fourth midfielder, which I think we do need, or you keep Trevor Chalobah for the sitting role and you don't get the fourth choice midfielder. This team can still challenge for Premier League and title, Premier League and Champions League. You bring in Koundé and Tuchel into this team. For me, this team has got to pick up a Champions League or a Premier League. They have to, because they're just that good. They've got that many options there, because Tuchel allows you to have that Jorginho, again, not Jorginho type player, but someone that can sit. He's going to sit differently because he's not the same type of player, but he also gives you that Kante energy. Sometimes when Kante is not playing and we need to rest him, we do miss his energy in the box to box and getting around the pitch and making those tackles. Tuchel replaces that Kante energy, but he also, unlike Kova, is a natural sitter and someone that can actually sit. And he brings a bit of physique, which is missing to that midfield as well, a bit of height. So that ticks off all the remaining boxes that you're missing in that midfield in terms of profile. And like I said, I just think Koundé would just be better than Trevor Chalobah in that more advanced centre-back role in terms of pushing forward. And I'd say Trevor Chalobah to get that loan. This super chat says Tactical Miz could make Spurs win a trophy at this rate.
No one can make Spurs win a trophy.
Not a chance. Spurs are not winning nothing with no one. So
Miz will get them relegated on purpose.
Appreciate the super chat, Fazard. Ali, really funny, man. That's something that we don't need to see, though. You keep your tactical knowledge here. We don't need to see Tottenham doing well. Bilan here with a super chat as well.
Heung-min Son, you're playing centre back this week.
Spurs are going to play a new formation: 1-9-1.
Someone is telling me to check Twitter. Lukaku's been announced. We'll see. Chelsea will go.
Really?
Chelsea will go in for Bellingham when Kovacic and Jorginho inevitably leaves. I mean, Bellingham would be an incredible player to bring into this team. That's the closest I've seen to box in a long time. I've spoken about it on here before that we don't really have traditional box-to-box midfielders that can actually impact both boxes effectively. We've got Kante, who can obviously get forward, but when it gets to the final third, he kind of ruins it with the decision-making sometimes, or he can't finish, or he can't assist with the killer pass. He does it sometimes, but I'm talking about doing it consistently. He's not a box-to-box type player. Mateo Kovacic, the same, not good enough in the final third as well. You bring someone like Bellingham in that final third, he can bring goals, he can bring assists, but he's also got the stature to go to both boxes as well. He is what you call a box-to-box. When you're talking about your Ramirez's of this world and your SCNs of old, that's proper box-to-box midfielder. It would be absolutely incredible to have him there. We're going to wrap up very soon, people. Miz has got to go and take this tactical analysis bucket and put it on his channel. So we're going to take it out for the final few minutes of the show. I mean, where is this confirmation of Lukaku joining?
There isn't no source.
All I've come across as of really recent, and Man United, you're welcome, by the way, because 5% of Lukaku's transfer fee will go to his former clubs.
Wow.
Lovely. So, £2.50 going to Old Trafford. I hope you're happy with that.
A whopping £2.50.
Did you say £2.50?
Yeah, we'll only give him £2.50. They can stop the rest.
And can I also say from that Tottenham game, when people got onto me about not giving the likes of Drinkwater, who had a good preseason game against Bournemouth, but especially the likes of Bakayoko as well. You know, people were like, let's give him another chance. Wow. You know, maybe Bakayoko, you know, maybe he can do something for us, you know. No. Moment silence for all those people.
Bakayoko looked so slow. It was like the game was too fast for him.
Yeah, he couldn't.
And that's pre-season. That's a pre-season game.
How many times do we have to say this about Bakayoko? He's not built for a possession-based team that are building out from the back. He does not think fast enough. It's as simple as that. He does not think fast enough. He's not good enough on the ball, in tight spaces, under any sort of press, in that situation. In Syria, the game's a bit slower. He gets a bit more time on the ball, and maybe they're not pressing him so relentlessly. In a possession-based team in this league, he will get eaten alive, and I'm not trying to see it. So respectfully, we need to get rid of him.
It's already happened. I think he got PTSD last night. I'm not going to lie. When he was on the bench, like ready to come on, I was like, he's probably thinking, "Oh my God, Watford playing through his head again," or something.
It's just funny. It's funny to me that people even needed to see this to know that this could happen. Like we've seen this so many times. Spoken about it before. Do you remember Dublin? Lampard's first season in the pre-season tour in Dublin. He was kicking the ball out of play for fun in the first half against one of them trialist teams. Brought in Gilmore, and suddenly the team looked a whole lot better. He's dreadful on the ball. He's dreadful.
Yeah.
I'm watching a comp now. It's not good.
But he'll need to go.
I mean, look, I know a lot of people can say it's the first match in the preseason for him. Nah, man. Look, honestly, even on your first, look at N'Golo Kante on his first match in the preseason.
Look at Billy Gilmore for Norwich. Look at Billy Gilmore for Norwich.
Billy Gilmore, that first time pass. Oh my God!
It was like watching Xavi.
Yeah. And do you guys see the way Norwich fans are talking about Billy? They're like he's demanding the ball. He's telling players where to go. He's literally they're all over Billy. It's just all of us overnight. Billy Gilmore is Norwich FC. Like
literally 19.
Like 19, man. Look, Bakayoko, those days are over, man. We need to
get rid of everything associated with the 17-18 window. That needs to be thrown.
Yeah, man. Honestly. And Drinkwater, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I got a bit excited. I know Younes got a bit excited after the Bournemouth game as well. But maybe Bournemouth is the level for Danny Drinkwater. And
it is.
He probably needs to find... Where's Bournemouth? Championship?
Now they are,
Scott Parker. Yeah, so maybe they need to. Maybe Danny Drinkwater needs to go to Championship. I think that's probably his level.
When it comes to the "Here we go" thing, I've seen it, guys. Don't worry, we see it. Yeah, he's pinned the "Here we go" comment. At the end of the day, that's not really breaking news, people. Fabrizio is not leading this transfer charge. It's clearly Matt Law and the other Chelsea journalists that are ahead of the curve with this one. Matt Law came after a holiday, dropped a report on everybody's head, bounced, and then bids started flying in. So Matt Law, once again, for Chelsea, he is the guy that you need to go to in terms of breaking news. And then Simon Johnson and Nizar have already put up emojis and timers and whatnot and run back hashtags. So the deal is basically done. I think the fee is almost agreed, if anything. If those guys are putting in timers and they're putting in hashtags, that means the deal's done. They can't come back from that if the deal was to break. Yeah, so Fabrizio pinning a "Here we go." If anything, for me, Fabrizio on this one's just going to be he's going to be late and he's going to be tapping this one in.
I can't see him pinning anything.
On the Italian side, even on the Italian side, it seems like he's following. Yeah,
he's following. It's Damasio who's breaking it, not Fabrizio.
Let me tell you guys something, and I'm so glad you guys have brought this in. And I'm not having a go at Fabrizio. Fabrizio's awesome. He's got I think Koundé one was one where he was the one who started talking, even though the Koundé connections were there a long time ago anyway. But he was the first one, I believe, who started talking about the Koundé thing literally a few days ago. But all of these Erling Haaland, Romelu Lukaku stuff, I'm pretty certain Fabrizio Romano had no information.
No,
he didn't. A tap-in merchant for this particular news.
For this one,
yeah. He's been riding on Matt Law and Simon Johnson, who are the ones who've been driving the Lukaku thing. And with the Erling Haaland one, he's been trying to invite Jan Age Foytoft several times to his Twitch, and literally Jan Age does not give him anything in those Twitch videos.
Crazy bit.
Yeah,
Crazy
bid, fantasy bid. So yeah, Fabrizio literally has no idea about this particular transfer. So yeah, even Di Marzio, as you guys have said, he's the one who's driving from the Italy side of things, and he just comments everything that he wants to, and then very tiny little portion right at the end, Di Marzio. Dude, the whole thing is Di Marzio.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So people, you don't need to be watching Fabrizio too much for this one. I think Chelsea journalists seem to have this quite covered. Yeah, the Chelsea
Matt Law
journalists
will announce it before anyone else.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it's basically done now. When you're just waiting for the clubs to post at this point, there's nothing else to it. So yeah, that's that on that one. Do you guys see Mount playing in midfield? This will be the last one just before we wrap up. For me personally, I don't want to see him in that too. No. I think he just needs to improve his output in terms of in front of goal, improve his finishing, continue to get more decisive in the final third, and he goes into that front three for me. I don't particularly need him next to that DM in the pivot. We saw a lot last season. Whenever Mount played there, we missed something in the front three with the pressing that he gave, and just the energy and the tempo that he starts higher up the pitch. He causes a lot of problems on the half turn. So yeah, I mean, we've got options in midfield. If we don't get the fourth choice, maybe you might see it. But personally, I like Mount in that front three when it's needed as well. What about you guys?
Younes, you want to go first?
No, I fully agree. I mean, we've already established where Mount plays best now. There was that debacle on the Frank Lampard where everyone was quite hesitant or didn't quite know. Is he box to box? Is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he a left winger? No one had a flipping clue. But now, like after last season, the way he's functioned, the way he's grown, he's developed, is clear. You want him just in behind that front three. And no other role really, but as we've seen, he's versatile, and it doesn't mean just because he's in one position that he can only stick to that area of the pitch. He can drift out left if he wants to. He can come more central. He can go forward. He can defend. He's very versatile, and Tuchel will use every single grain of Mason Mount he can possibly get out of him. So I fully agree with what Matisse said. We've already established where he's best.
Yeah. What about you, Liz? Just before we wrap up?
Similar. I don't think very deep where Kovacic or Kante plays is not his ideal position. I think just a bit ahead of them, where we were just demonstrating in the tactical board, that just a bit behind the strikers, just a bit above the midfielders, so more or less that 10 or that floating sort of position. But look, let's not disregard. He is very good at tracking back, defending as well. So he just adds another layer to that midfield, but not a DM style of midfielder. Maybe when he's 33, he could probably become a DM when he slows down.
Yeah, he carries the ball and dribbles really well and progresses it nicely for me to be pinning him down to a stationary position. Like I said, I think those two people in the pivot need to sit primarily with all the attacking outlets we've got going either side of them with the wing backs. Big up to everybody that's joined us. It's been a great show. We're going to be wrapping up now as well.
1,100. Wow, that's big, man. Smash the like button, guys.
Smash the likes, boys. It's great to have you all joining us on this show. Obviously, breaking news with Lukaku this week with the push. Miz, let them know where to find you, bro. It's been brilliant having your analysis and pitch. I hope we can have this all season on the show. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, man. Why not? I mean, I just because I think this is a really good platform. Obviously, we get 1,000 people here. And the more we can talk about these sort of things, I think sometimes you get misconceptions. Oh, Ziyech doesn't do this. Or Ziyech needs to be sold. I mean, we can break things down, and not just Ziyech, any other players as well. We're not claiming to be. I saw a comment saying, "Oh, these guys, YouTubers talking about tactics." Like, we're not claiming to be Thomas Tuchel either. We're just saying that what we're seeing is what we're trying to demonstrate. I'm not trying to create any new philosophy here. What I saw is what I'm trying to demonstrate so that it looks clear for you guys. You guys can find me on the other side of the coin. Literally, I've got a stream coming up in 7 minutes where we're going to talk about Jack Grealish. We're going to talk about Danny Ings. We're going to talk about Tammy Abraham, Lukaku, obviously. Just a daily sort of roundup of where the transfer news is at. And yeah, just a massive shout out to all you guys, man. It's been mad. I mean, I just saw my YouTube analytics, 1,100 subscribers in the last 28 days. So it's been
Beautiful.
mad.
That's mad.
I can't thank enough to each and every one of you guys. Literally, we broke the record on my channel yesterday where we had pre-match.
I've seen that,
yeah, we had the boys at the stadium pre-match, and I had 1,500 live, which was mad. I've never had that on my channel. And it was just unbelievable. So, yeah, it's going good. You guys are enjoying it as well. We're going to do more madness on this particular channel as we go along. So, yeah, come along on the ride.
Love that. People, make sure you go and subscribe. Link is in description as always. I'm sure Victor or one of the mods will be putting it in the chat as well. Younes, let them know what's coming up, bro. Any content coming out today? What's happening?
I mean, well, firstly, yeah, man, make sure you follow the other side of the coin, Mizziola. You know what I mean? We don't need Guardiola anymore. We got Mizziola. It's all good.
The last thing you want is me doing one of those. You got this midfielders coming in and the wingers going wide, and they're so close. Oh my God!
No, honestly, no. But for me, I mean, it's just cracking on with all the latest and the news. I'm diving into what's happening outside of Chelsea, the whole Harry Kane saga, which has gone mental. You know, there's Arsenal trying to buy players, not quite making it happen, except for Ben White, Lautaro Martinez. Is that going to happen if Lukaku comes to Chelsea? We don't know. So there's other things to dive into, but Chelsea news every day. A double upload if there's other news from another club happening that's big to talk about. But we now, you know, if pre-season pretty much done, we look to the Super Cup. And the watch-alongs are going to be back from the Super Cup onwards. Match previews, match reviews, and just get the season cracking. Aside from that, I will be back streaming on Twitch for just random streams, nothing too major. All the watch-alongs will be back here on YouTube as well as Twitch. But yeah, let's get cracking again. The season commences. So, content's going to be pumping out left, right, and centre. Love that.
Brilliant. People, make sure you go and subscribe to Younes. You know, I'm sure you already are, but if you're not, go and get it done. Don't piss about. It's a big season upcoming. We got Lukaku, Rom back. Yeah. Sounds like a proper beast. Like that hashtag. Like it sounds like a proper scary situation. It's going to be scary, but not for us.
It's like Pogback evolved. You know, like Pokemon evolved. They evolved. Like Pogback.
Only this time it results in a Premier League title or a Champions League. But yeah, people, smash the likes on your way out. Leave a comment. I'll be sure to be responding to comments at the end of the stream as well in the comment section. And thanks for joining us. It's been a great stream. We'll be back next Thursday. Shout out to the Asian community. I'm sure you're very happy with this time. We're back. This is the new time. This is the time.
We may be back on a special if
Lukaku's announced. I mean, we'll be back on a special on an emergency breaking news show. So definitely see you guys for that as well when the announcement comes. And I hope you guys are happy with the time slot. Oil Boys will be at 10 p.m. on Thursdays going into the season as well. So you're going to get two live shows, two of your favorite live shows on the same day. And it'll be straight after Champions League games on Tuesday and Wednesday. So you're going to get instant reaction from Chelsea and Man City's Champions League games on the Thursdays this season. And we're still looking for the time for London Clubs Carnage with that group chat. Ever so slightly waiting. But yeah, we'll be back, people, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a video most likely, and on Saturday with another video as well. In a bit, people. Peace.